Welcome in to the latest episode of Betting the Pitch. You're your host, the real underscore G Warner. Gonna go a little slowly. It's anybody who's up late night that wants to get in here. We're talking Europa League, Europa Conference League, and hope another late night episode. But I've got the passion of the of burning 10,000 suns after watching the New York Yankees nine hitter decide to take a swing while the ball was already caught for a strikeout, and somehow that still catches interference. And the Yankees have literally gotten every call this entire series. Still, were not able to win the first game, but I swear, Major League Baseball umpires, it is May 8th, and I am already losing my mind. However, we got a soccer podcast as we are wrapping up the 2024-25 season, and specifically the Europa League and the Europa Conference League. We're 46-19 after Inter a quarter of a goal underdog won in right a half unit, but it's counted as a win on our podcast this season, and we're up to 71%, which is incredible. It's been a great year, and hoping to improve upon that with some winners. I'll pick and make it a 1 minute ultimate best bet end of show. One pick from the Europa League, one pick from the Europa Conference League, and then I'll put that out on the social channels at the real underscore G Warner on YouTube and on Instagram. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or listening, please leave a five-star review. It's huge for the search rankings, and we'll get started right about now. Oh yes, Jerry's poker vlog. Yes, I swear to God, bringing the robombs. I've been. I mean, if you follow at the real underscore G Warner on Twitter, I know we're doing cross sport, which is probably not interesting to a lot of people here. But I swear to God, the I've been shouting about this forever, and to me, the Major League Baseball is just too broke. I mean, they're so worried about getting TikTokers who are never going to care about a 3 hour long baseball game or a 2.5 hour or 2 hour and 15 minute game. Sorry, they're not going to. That's a loss. But I swear to God, just constantly having these umpires who are horrible and literally making every wrong decision the entire night. The A replay decision in Boston at Fenway tonight, absolutely inexplicable. From no replay angle, did it seem like Wyatt Langford touched first base and actually went in my direction as a Rangers better. So it's not just complaining about things that going the other way. But I swear to God, umpires, referees are horrible and they need to be better. We have the technology to do it, but all these leagues are either too broke or too stupid to do it. And I'm going to die on this hill. So now that that's out of there and out of the system, it's the late night with the real underscore G Warner going through Europa League semifinals and Europa Conference League, specifically the second legs. And we'll start in the Europa League because that's what we've been broadcasting about all season on Wednesday nights. We'll start with Bodo They are a pick'em right now to Tottenham from the loud and proud English Premier League, which has put exactly the same amount of teams in the Champions League final as I did this season. So nice job by England. But I guess you could win the Europa League because you have pretty big advantages, both for Tottenham visiting Bodo and also the next game we'll talk about, Manchester United hosting Athletic Club Bilbao. But we'll start Bodo pick 'em right now. All the juice on Tottenham. Totals 3, just more to the under. And that makes sense because one of these teams is in a league that has squad values over $1 billion, and the other plays in Norway. So the nice part here is I look forward to seeing what Bodo can try to do from a 3-1 deficit in on aggregate. They're going to have to go for goals here, and Tottenham can certainly give those up. I think they've been a lot more conservative defensively, and kind of change styles that Ange Postecoglou said he never would change. But they're in a great position to go to the Europa League final with a 2 goal advantage, going to play on artificial turf in the Arctic Circle, but it's not so bad to go in May as opposed to January. So Tottenham look good here. I mean, Bodo they win this game by a goal. They are covering the spread. Everyone's celebrating on the Tottenham side because they go through to the final. And I think that's not something to discount. So I'm pretty interested there. In terms of movement here, we've seen Tottenham been catching money, probably not surprising based on A, they play in England, B, their squad value, C, because they had a big victory at home in the first leg. Bodo didn't really look like a competitive team there, but things change when they're on their home pitch. They literally like look dead and buried a few rounds ago. I think the first round even coming out of the group stage play or the league phase as they call it now. And got some late goals to survive. And I mean, Tottenham certainly don't look like one of those teams that are impregnable defensively. They've certainly been a lot better with Mickey Van de Ven and with Christian Romero as their true center backs that miss a lot of the season due to injury. But That's also one of those things where the Tottenham style, they literally have two defenders that can do it. So I'm very interested to see what lineups look like. Of course, if any absentees, unexpected or expected, show up there, I'll lean to the Bodø/Glimt side. But I think we could see some fireworks in the total here. So as an under player, here's one for you. Joe Dollar, longtime Patreon subscriber. If you're interested in getting in on what's been a really hot start to the month of May in Major League Baseball, check out patreon.com/real_G Warner. Of course, the rest of the soccer season, Club World Cup this summer, and of course, what's left of the Stanley Cup playoffs, which has been quiet to start the second round, but I think there's going to be plenty to go forward the rest of this playoff season. But yeah, I think Bodo Glimt at a pick 'em right now is my biggest interest in this one. I think we could see some goals. So there we go. Joe Dollar lean to over three. Can't believe I'm saying it, but juices a little bit more to under. And I think the push on three is important if you're playing a total either direction. So I'm always, in the words of my NFL podcast co host, which we are trying to get some NFL episodes this summer. If that's of interest to any of you, please leave a 5-star review and tell us exactly what you'd like us to discuss. NFL draft's already done, but maybe as we get the season win totals and maybe get into those a little bit sooner than a couple weeks before the season starts. If that's of interest, please go leave a 5-star review or subscribe on YouTube at the real_G Warner. 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify under the Betting the Pitch name. And let us know what you'd like to hear, and I'll try to get A_Schnicker on the podcast line. He did just have a baby though, so congratulations to him, and we'll see if I can get him while he's feeding. Just kidding, he doesn't do that. But we'll move now to Manchester United and Athletic Club Bilbao. Currently, Manchester United a half a goal favor right now at home. All the juice on Athletic Club totals 2.5, and is juiced all the way to under. So we played under in this matchup. One of our losers, unfortunately, on this best bet channel, or ultimate best bet end of show, and could have been an under winner, probably should have been, except for a ridiculous red card, last man setting off Dogzo, denial of a goal scoring opportunity. The UEFA referees have been so against giving penalties, which I guess this is probably relevant to the Major League Baseball chat at the beginning of this show. But I swear to God, the decision to go to the monitor, give a red card for what didn't really look like a foul, a little bit of a pullback, but a huge dive from Rasmus Højlund of Manchester United. Also in La Catedral, the San Mamés home stadium for Athletic Club as well. I guess if UEFA is trying to say that they are unbiased and their referees are making calls, no matter as if the game was played on Mars, it certainly looked that way because they just invented a penalty and red card, and it really swung the game and made it so Athletic Club really were behind the eight ball the rest of the first half. We're down 2-0 then after the penalty was converted at that point, and a third goal was scored, and that killed our unders and made it really dull for the second leg because Athletic Club are too far behind. With all that said, 3-0 at Athletic Club deficit heading to Old Trafford. It's really tough for Manchester United to play that way because they're not playing for anything in the Premier League. So this is all they're going to do. They're going to put their best side out there, but Manchester United have so many goals to play with that it's probably really hard to be the more focused or angrier side type thing. I think we see Athletic Club come out and really go at Manchester United, which I think the total at 2.5 juice pretty heavily to under. Again, I think we've seen some second leg totals throughout these two-legged ties that just, I mean, they go over even though some of them have no business going over, but do anyway. A lot more because Champions League have so much better offensive talent and they have so many goal scorers. But honestly, the defenses in Champions League are so much better than any other place. So that's a lot of times why those games go under. But they haven't really in the two-legged ties for a couple of years now, especially later in the competition, until really the final, which is usually an under haven. But I think the Athletic Club side here is my biggest interest, especially now getting half of a goal that's climbed from a quarter of a goal early in the week. I'm trying to be against Manchester United as much as I can until the season ends. I guess if they somehow win the Europa League, maybe that saves their season because they get a Champions League berth and we get to fade Ruben Amorim against the best clubs across Europe, especially with a tax for Manchester United that always inflates their price. But Athletic Club are really good. I'm going to be very curious to see if the Williams brothers start because I know Nico Williams has been in and out of the lineup all season. I think because he's probably moving to Barcelona and they're trying to keep him as healthy as possible, slash his agent is saying that. But that's just me saying that. I have no inside sources to say that, of course. Definitely don't speak Basque if that's where the news is going down. But also could discuss two advanced numbers, which I forgot to mention. Rare that we have these for this league, but we do have for Europa League. And actually, I think we do have a conference league as well, which we'll get to in a second. So Athletic Club, 15 to 1 odds to move through. And that is from a very different -110 both ways as the closing price to advance heading into the first leg. So pretty significant difference there. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you're down 3-0 and your best defender is suspended. Arguably best, but I think Donny Vivian has been the most reliable, most trusted, most started of all the Athletic Club defenders when healthy. Uri Alvarez, his partner, I feel like he's usually out in the third choice or something like that out of the two that usually start a back four. So that's a big loss. Unfortunately, that also impacts the any sort of underplays. I feel like Manchester United have been an under team all season, but I don't really like that in this situation. And I think it's too big of odds. I'm surprised, honestly. Manchester at United at 1 to 80 to move through, $8,000 to win 100, compared to 100 to win 15. Excuse me, 100 to win 1500. Yeah, on Athletic Club. I mean, no one should be betting into that. Unfortunately, that's just stealing from the casino, but I don't choose the lines, unfortunately. We'll move next to Tottenham. They're -750 favorites, 750 US to win 100. Bodo Glimt, they're 100 to win 490. So I do like second leg home teams with big plus signs, but unfortunately, I would like them to be a lot closer than 2 goals behind on aggregate for this home match on an artificial turf situation because I think that's too big of a number. In terms of where these moved, so gigantic move. Athletic Club were initially favored, closed split juice, and then of course are huge underdogs today. Tottenham have basically doubled, -400, -750. And that's what happens when you win by 2 goals at home and you're a much bigger club, a bigger balance sheet, bigger squad value, and you're on the way to a place where no one knows how to pronounce the name, except for me now, I think, because I'm using that off of the Glosso network. But I think Nico Contour is usually pretty good at knowing how to pronounce the bad teams because that seems to be his wheelhouse. So for the ultimate best bet portion of the show, from the Europa League, I'm going to give out Athletic Club half a goal underdogs. I think they can go win on the road and still not celebrate or get close to advancing with a 3 goal deficit. And I think Manchester United will not have a lot of oomph in them to go win this match. And I think they'll be very happy with a loss at home to still advance or a draw at home. And that certainly pays out a full bet now in this half of goal underdog Athletic Club Bilbao. So now I'll move to the Europa Conference League, and we have two matches, one to advanced number, and I'll start with the more lopsided of the two. Chelsea Football Club in London get to host Djurgården from Stockholm, Sweden. Currently, Chelsea 2.25 goal favorites right now. Juice is about split, totals 3.5. Juice more to the under. Chelsea with a 4-1 aggregate advantage on the road in Stockholm. Gigantic price for Djurgården, who are eliminated with a 3 goal win, yet can somehow lose by 2 and still cover the spread. I don't know who's backing that. That's certainly the way I lean in this one. I just fear that Chelsea name their price here or name their score, and that's a big problem when you have a gigantic, one of the biggest squad values ever to grace the Conference League because they couldn't play or perform in the Premier League last season, and a minnow to say the least. So I spent more time from the Conference League on Fiorentina and Real Betis. So currently Fiorentina 1/4 goal favorites at home. Almost all the juice on Real Betis away. Totals 2.5. Juice more to the under. Sadly, I didn't buy Real Betis gear of any sort. I don't really like green. It's one of my favorite colors, but didn't buy any gear, and I should have. Disappointing. I didn't buy any Sevilla stuff either. I think I was at a point in my soccer life where I was like, I don't really want to declare myself as a fan. If I buy some gear, I do that. Well, now I buy stuff all the time so I can wear stuff on these podcasts. Now I'm currently a Kaiser Chief of the South African League of some sort. Thank you to my aunt for grabbing this jersey when she went on safari. But anyway, I wish I had some gear because then I'd have some Europa League stuff because I'm out. Or at least all the teams are out that I have something from. So Fiorentina, 1/4 goal favorites. They were a pretty big underdog, in my opinion, at 3/4 of a goal underdog last weekend, or last Thursday, excuse me, in Sevilla. And we're really behind the 8 ball from the beginning. Real Betis were really good, deserved to be favorites. I felt like Fiorentina was hanging on and was going to do okay, and maybe escape with a 1-0 loss. Conceded a second and got a really important goal to claw back into the tie. So down 2-1 on aggregate, certainly are very, very possible they can win this match. Go win 1-0 at home, go to extra time, and you're probably a favorite there to advance. So we'll speak to that. Real Betis minus 275 right now to advance. And I should pull up what they were heading into this initially. So minus 145 is the price I saw on Real Betis. So pretty big increase of about half, 47%. Fiorentina have moved from plus 120 to 215, and I'm glad I didn't bet it at that first leg because I thought about it. But I don't think they're dead yet by any means. I think 215 is a pretty nice price on Fiorentina at this point. I think Fiorentina are a good squad, especially Moise Kean has been so good this season after really flaming out everywhere he's played throughout his career. I don't know if he'll stay at Fiorentina for a long time, but the goals are there. And Real Betis, I mean, they've been really good this year playing no striker the entire season, or eventually halfway through the year, bringing Cucho Hernandez, who's I think 5'7", starting Bakambu in the Conference League for a lot of the season as well. Have a great manager, but I like what we've seen from Fiorentina. I think I'm more interested probably than to advance with the big odds plus 215 than I am in laying a quarter of a goal on the home team. But Real Betis here certainly they want to draw so they can advance and don't have to worry about extra time. They want to win this match. They'll have chances to do that every second that Fiorentina are not equalized or they have not gotten an equalizer, found an equalizer. They will be pushing forward and exposing their defense even more. I think if you're playing this game in the 90 minutes, Real Betis getting a quarter of goal is of interest. And I think if you're looking to play this for a two advanced number, I think you play Fiorentina plus 215 at home. Hard to say that since those are diametrically opposed, and certainly you lose the quarter goal underdog if you're playing Real Betis and you're playing Fiorentina to advance. And I don't like betting things that can lose both ways, which certainly Real Betis could advance in extra time or in penalty kicks, and your to advance 215 on Fiorentina will lose while you lose your quarter goal underdog during the 90 minutes. So don't like advocating that, but I could see avenues for both of those directions. We'll certainly be looking forward to lineups coming out before kickoff on Thursday here in the United States, Thursday afternoon, and we'll be looking to try to figure out where I want to go with all that. So, it's time now for the ultimate best bet. I want to make sure I didn't miss any comments. So give me 1 second. I'll pull this back up since we are live. Brothers ruled out. Okay, thank you, Jerry's poker vlog. You're just on top of everything today. Robo umps earlier, and then of course the Williams brothers ruled out. That explains a little bit towards the move, towards a half of a goal. I feel like with soccer, it's really just hard to trust any lineup stuff until we see the confirmed 1 hour before, which still sometimes have very important players ruled out seconds before, which sends the commentators for a loop and certainly make me want to die. But that's also a Major League Baseball umpire job at this point. Thank you, Jerry's Poker Vlog, for coming in here, and that is valuable information. So without the Williams brothers, if they're both out, which is a pretty significant loss, and the desire for Athletic Club, they certainly want to find a way into that final in their home stadium. Best chance to win a trophy is when you're playing it literally in your estadio. But at this point, that's a big problem. Where I would go or where I expect their lineup to be. So Berenguer is a great winger and fills in so well for Iñaki Williams and Nico Williams. The problem is on the other side or opposite of Berenguer is I guess trying to figure out what the heck to do with their other wing. Berenguer can play on each side, but Jallo seems like too young of a winger. So that's a concern. I really like Guruzeta, who's been a great striker for years and years, but he's kind of been replaced by Marouane Sanadi. And I don't really know if they want. It's not really it's always a 4-2-3-1 from Ernesto Valverde since he's been managing Athletic Club. We could see two strikers, but I feel like that's a really tough thing to change your formula right in the second leg when you need three goals. Certainly being more offensive would make sense, but that does certainly leave the back end open, and that's a concern for sure. Man. And that kind of complicates where I thought I was going to potentially go with my ultimate best bet. But I do like the half of a goal, and this match does not require a Athletic Club victory away from home. So that is something to ponder and think about. So Other podcasts coming out on this channel. Certainly, we'll be doing the Friday night weekend podcast for all the soccer, top five European soccer leagues, England, Spain, France, Germany, Italy. And then we'll be doing a baseball podcast on Thursday night, maybe Friday this week for weekend card through pregame.com. You can find that at pregame now on Twitter with my guy at Munaf Manji at SportsNerd824. Still trying to get A Brooks Bets back after he had an awesome day in the Kentucky Derby. Good, congratulations to him. Might get a triple crown type episode coming out, horse racing style. If you're interested in that, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Say you want the horse racing podcast, and I will get him on there. He's certainly an expert there, but still trying to resurface our Major League Baseball podcast from last season as well, as he's been trying to mess with me and telling me I need to talk to his agent. So, Twitter audience, please at ABROOKSBETS at ABrooksBets, as you would expect to spell it. Hit him up. Tell him you want Major League Baseball podcast stuff on the Betting the Pitch podcast network. So, let me get my recording device out there for the 1 minute video, and let's get into it. Okay. I think we're good. Everything's here. Let's see. Hey, this is the real_G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. This is the ultimate best bet from the Betting the Pitch podcast network. Went through the Europa Conference League, the Europa League, the second leg of the semifinals, trying to figure out who's going to the finals in both of these competitions. As we always do, 1 minute video with our best bets, 46-19, 71% year to date, with Inter Milan covering the quarter goal underdog this week in Champions League. But from this episode from the Europa League, I like Athletic Club, a half of a goal underdog on the road at Manchester United. And in the Europa Conference League, I'll go Real Betis, a quarter goal underdog on the road at Fiorentina. But for the ultimate best bet, check out patreon.com/real_G Warner for all plays across this sport, soccer, plus a really hot start to May in Major League Baseball, plus the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's go Athletic Club, half of a goal underdog on the road at Manchester United. Yes, the Iñaki and Nico Williams brothers are potentially out from this matchup, but I think we can see Manchester United accepting a draw, and that will not cover the spread. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you on the next episode, likely coming out Friday night on this channel. Thanks for the support as always, and I hope you have a great night, making some money, hopefully, throughout the rest of this weekend.